Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back and thank you for supporting me. I'm Cricut. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I embroidered a beach towel using a 5x12 repositional magnetic hoop. Come on y'all, let's see how I did it. For this project, I will be using a beach towel, a 5x12 repositionable magnet hoop, a measuring tape, water-soluble stabilizer, tearaway stabilizer, embroidery thread, and scissors. I will leave a list of these items in the description of the video. Here in Brilliance, I am using Stitch Artist Level 3. Also, because I am using a single needle machine with a maximum hoop size of 5x7, I will be using a repositionable hoop that lets me embroider 5x12. The first thing I'm going to do is add my text. To add my text, I am going to go to the top toolbar and I am going to select Create Letters, which is the letter A icon. When the text ABC shows, then I am going to go to the bottom right to the Properties panel, and where it says Text, I am going to type in Reagan and hit Enter. Then just below that, I am going to select the drop-down menu to select the font. And the font I'm going to select is TSS Unicorn Sprinkle 3.25 inches. I purchased this font from Etsy. As you can see, I need to adjust the spacing for my name design. And to do this, you can do this two ways. You can do this the first way by going to the right side on the Properties panel, and where it says spacing, where it says space, you would use this slider bar to move your letters closer. For this project, I am going to manually move the letters. And to move the letters, I am going to select the E. So to select the E, I would just select the green square. And then once the letter is selected, you're going to see a green square with an up and down arrow. And then I am going to use my keyboard the arrows on my keyboard to move the letter over so that it is touching. So, and then once I have it where I want it, I'm just going to click anywhere on the canvas to close that. I am going to repeat the same steps to move the other letters. Next, I am going to size everything. Remember, you cannot change the size of BX fonts too much because it will change the stitches. To change the size, I am going to go onto the Objects panel on the right side, and I'm going to select my name. And on the top toolbar, I am going to select the Select icon, and it is the arrow cursor. And then to the left on the tool pane, I am going to unlock the lock proportional, and I'm going to change my width to 11, hit enter, and change my height to 4.5 and hit enter. With the name still selected, I am going to make sure that it is centered in the hoop by going to the top menu and selecting Utility and then Center in Hoop. Now that I have my name sized, I am going to save the embroidery file. To save the file, I am going to go to the top menu and select File. I am going to select Save as Stitch and Working. And I am going to navigate to the location where I want the file saved. And then I'm just going to name my file. And I'm going to keep Split Design in the name of my file. After I name my file, the file save as type should be the type file needed for your embroidery machine. And for mine, it is PES. And then I'm going to select Save. For this project, I'll be using the 5x12 repositionable magnetic hoop that I purchased from Amazon. And the hoop comes with 10 magnets. Like my other repositionable hoop, the magnetic hoop has 4 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slots 1 and 2 will embroider 1/2 of your design, and slots 3 and 4 will embroider the other half of your design. Depending on how you hoop your item, and also depending on which half of the design you want to start with, that will determine which set of slots you start with first. So the next thing I'm going to do is hoop my towel. And for this project, I am going to have the brackets facing the away from the area where the name is going to be, because I want the majority of my towel to rest on my table. And so my embroidery machine is a left hoop adjustment arm. The arm is on the left side of my machine, and so my brackets would go this way, and I want my towel to lay this way. And so to hoop it, I'm just going to turn it around this way so that I can hoop it with most of the towel going that way. So the embroidery machine has these little notches on it to indicate the center of the hoop. And once I put the stabilizer on it, I am not going to be able to see where my center is. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mat, and I am just going to align my vertical center on the mat here. And I'm just going to align it. Let me see if I can show you. No. I'm going to align it on the 12 here. So I'm going to align it there on the 12. And then I'm going to align my horizontal. I'm going to put that on the 9. And so I'm going to use my mat to help me when it's time for me to place my towel on my hoop. Then I am going to place a piece of tearaway stabilizer onto the hoop itself. So I'm going to place it here. And to help me to keep it still, I am just going to tape down the sides so that it doesn't move when I'm hooping my towel. So I'm just going to put some tape on it like that so it can stay like that. I am then going to mark my center points on the stabilizer so that I can make sure I get my towel aligned correctly. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the ruler on the 12 mark using my mat to help me to get that placed. And I'm just going to draw a line on my stabilizer using this pencil. So I'm just going to draw a line. And then I am going to put my ruler on the 9, and I am going to draw another line horizontally so that I'll know where the center point of my towel is. So I don't know if you can see it all that well, but there's a line here and there's a line there. Now that I've identified the center of my hoop, I am going to identify where I want the name to go on my towel. And to do this, I started out by folding the towel in half lengthwise, and I pressed a center crease. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. And again, my bracket is facing up, and that's where most of the towel is going to be. So I'm going to open it up, and I want my name to kind of go in this area right here. And so I have a printout, and the printout identifies the center of the design. And so I'm just going to line it up where I want it to go, and I'm going to put it right here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use a straight pin, and I am going to stick the straight pin through the center point of the name. And I'm just going to stick it through there. And that's going to let me know where the center point of my name should go. And I can just pull it off again. Once I get the straight pin in, I'm just going to pull that off and let the straight pin just stay right there, hopefully. So now I've identified the center where I want my name to go. I'm just going to fold the towel back in half on the crease, and I am going to line up the towel, the center fold of the towel, with the center line that I drew on my stabilizer. And this is the center of the name, and I'm just going to move it up so that the straight pin is on the horizontal line and the towel is on the vertical line. And that is going to let me know that I have my towel centered on the hoop where I want the name to go. And I'm just going to make sure that I straighten out the towel, and I'm just going to open up the towel, holding it down, making sure I'm not moving my hoop. I'm just going to open up the towel and flatten it out. And once I get it flattened out, I am going to remove the straight pin. Once I get it straight, I'm just going to add the water soluble stabilizer to the hoop as well. And I can feel the towel where the hoop is going to be. I can feel. So my hoop is right here. So I'm just going to make sure that I get the water soluble stabilizer on where my design is going to be stitching out. Now I'm going to use the magnets to hold everything in place. So the magnet, this is the magnet, one of the magnets. And this magnet has this little lift or groove right here. What I want the groove to face the inside of the hoop. And what I'm going to do is I am going to drag the hoop across the fabric until I catch the hoop, and then I'm just going to place it down. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And what this is doing is it is making sure that the fabric is laid down tight. So I want my fabric to be tight, the towel to be tight. And I am just going to do that same process for the remaining magnets. Here at the embroidery machine, I have the hoop on the machine. And to get started, I am going to be stitching out the first half of her name. So starting with the R, I am going to be placing the hoop in slots 3 and slot 4 because that is the orientation of my hoop for me to stitch the first half of her name. So I'm going to place it on the machine in slots 3 and 4. Once the hoop is on the machine, I am going to get the name pulled up. The name is on the flash drive that has already been inserted into my machine. To locate the name, I am going to select the USB icon, and I am going to locate the design, and I'm just going to pan over here, and this is the first half of her name. So I'm going to select her name and select set. I'm going to check to make sure that the name is in the correct orientation, and it is. And I am going to select edit in. I am going to select embroidery. Once I select embroidery, the stitch order is going to show. And when using the repositional hoop, it adds an outline step right here, which is called a basting stitch, and it goes around the design. I do not want to stitch this outline, so to get rid of the outline, I am going to select the needle with the minus and the plus sign. I am going to select the spool with the plus sign, and I'm going to select OK, and that is moving me to the next step in my design. Once I'm finished, then I can start the machine. Next, I am going to lower my presser foot and then push the green button to start. Now the first half is done, and I am going to move the hoop to slots 1 and 2 so that it can stitch out the second half of the design. To embroider the second half, I am going to cancel the first one, and then I'm going to select the USB icon. I am going to search for the second half of the design, and that is the second half right there. I'm going to press set. I'm going to make sure that the design is in the correct orientation, and it is. So I'm going to select in edit, and I'm going to select embroidery. It's going to show my stitch order. I am going to remove the outline stitch by selecting the needle with the plus and minus. I'm going to select the spool with the plus sign, and I'm going to select OK. I am going to lower my presser foot, and I'm going to press the green button to start the machine. Okay, y'all, the beach towel is all done, And now I'm just going to remove the magnets. Then I am going to do some cleanup. So I am going to remove the water soluble stabilizer. Okay. So overall, I think that the name stitched out fine. I had a little hiccup right here where my thread kept coming out, and I forgot to back it up. Also, I think I kind of stretched the letters out too much. So be mindful that you cannot stretch the letters out too much. Overall, I think it came out really nice. It's for my great niece, and she is going to love it. I am going to tear away the stabilizer on the back. Okay, guys, here is the full towel and the final look. Tell me what you think. All right, guys, that's all for now. I hope that you're able to follow along with my process. If you like this video and would like to see more, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will respond back. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.